Thank you for joining us. It's great to be back with you celebrating Dead by Daylight's 8th year anniversary. Since the last anniversary, we have released amazing licensed content such as Alien, Chucky, Alan Wake, and a personal favorite of mine, Nick Cage. We've also released our most popular original chapter to date, All Things Wicked.
Oh, tak tvrda.
We can't forget, we did the Halloween event, which was bigger and better than ever with the introduction of the Void. This year, we introduced the concept of modifiers in Dead by Daylight, starting in February. Lights Out, we followed it with My Little Oni, and soon, later this week, we'll introduce Chaos Shuffle, the third one. We took a few steps towards improving the player experience.
Lights Out byla hrozná sačka. Jak mají ten Oni, ten medkit.
Let's dive into the future and what's really coming up for this year. We're happy to announce today that we have 6 new chapters currently in the works, and 2 of those chapters will be survivor-only chapters.
Okay.
As we've talked a little bit and teased even earlier last week, the first chapter that's going to be coming out is Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
And we're actually going to deep dive that into
killer bude!
After that, an iconic Killer Survivor duel will be coming into the fog, and if you stick around to the end of the show, you're going to get a little preview as to what that will be. We'll finish off 2024 with an original Killer and Survivor chapter, and we'll finish off the Year 9 roadmap with a licensed Killer-only chapter, followed by an original Survivor-only.
Moving a bit away from our content roadmap, we're going to take a closer look at the 4 pillars out of which the year will be based on. For those of you who have been with us for a long time, you'll see that there's consistency throughout the years with the 4 pillars that we're focusing on, but we're really adjusting the contents of each. On top of that, we can also expect more modifiers to make it in the game, whether it's the one we've talked about just before, that are going to be revisited throughout the year, or introducing new modifiers that are either tweaks on something or something completely different. But modifiers is just a little sliver of what we're planning to do this year, and I think we have something a little bigger that might be coming up.
Okay.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm so happy to be here and let you guys know that for the first time ever, this summer, Dead by Daylight will have a new mode, not modifier, but a mode coming to you all. We've been listening and hearing your feedback, and I'm really happy to let you know that this summer, replacing Scorching Barbecue will be the first ever time-limited 2v8 mode in Dead by Daylight.
Dvaja versus 8, tak ti hráme. To ti hráme. To vyzerá dobré! To čuje! Aha, to je jak Cagea. To je jak Cagea u Executionera.
2v8 is coming to DBD. This is a new game mode, which is really cool. Other gameplay events that we've done before, so Lights Out, My Little Oni, soon Chaos Shuffle, these are what we're calling modifiers. And modifiers basically take a DBD match, change a few things.
Okay.
But ultimately, you're still playing DBD.
Jasné.
With this new game mode, 2v8, we're fundamentally changing the way that you play Dead by Daylight.
Okay.
In this particular case, there's 2 killers, 8 survivors, and a bunch of new changes that we're going to get into very shortly. The focus with 2v8, we really wanted to hone in on what's exciting and fun and chaotic with DBD, and we're leaning more into a party mode kind of vibe rather than something that's super competitive.
Ježiš, si predstav tie customky. Kámo, 10 ľudí si môže zahrať DBDčko teraz.
So first, let's break down a few of the key changes that we know are going to be coming for 2v8 this summer. I mean, of course, there's still generators, there's still exit gates, there's just more of them.
Okay.
We made 5 maps bigger to accommodate all of the action, all of the chaos, perks in this mode. Instead, introducing a new sort of 2v8 exclusive system called classes for survivors.
Okay,
right.
Klasy.
Basically, once you've chosen your character, you can select and equip a player class. And this class is effectively your power for the match.
Okay.
And it helps players identify
Jasné,
what your
ako
role is
sniper,
within the team.
tank, DPS, healer.
And it'll work a little differently for killers. You'll be able to choose from one of the 5 original killers.
Okay.
Each with their own specific gameplay. Killers obviously have powers, so we don't have classes in this mode, but we will be introducing a new mechanic, which is a team power. For example, if you are the Wraith, when you cloak yourself, if your teammate is within a certain radius of you, they will also get the undetectable status effect, allowing you to coordinate a sort of team stealth attack.
Chápem.
Should make for some entertainment. The reason that we're focusing on the 5 original killers is just to make sure that this is as accessible as possible. They're all free and
Ale hovno, neklám. Robili to preto, pretože by to bolo moc komplikované, keby to robili pre všetkých.
And as Justin said before, there will be 5 original killers coming to this iteration of this game mode, but we will be looking to add more as we iterate on it and add
cením.
more to it.
Gameplay improvements, no pome.
The upcoming challenge system. This isn't something we've told people about. Why don't you tell them about it right now? How is it going to benefit our players?
So we really wanted to deliver new in-game challenges to players and new ways for them to be constantly rewarded outside of just tomes and archives. So we're going to be introducing a new challenge system, which is a system of challenges, hence the name.
Perfect.
That players are going to be able to complete completely passively. That means that players don't need to actively select the challenge that they want to complete, and they can complete multiple of them at the same time.
Okay.
Initially, we're going to start with daily challenges, weekly challenges, and event challenges.
Nice.
And later on, we want to expand those into other parts of the game as well.
Nice.
We think that this is going to be a great way for players to be constantly rewarded just for logging in and playing DBD.
I think that's a really great addition. I think people in the community are going to really appreciate just being rewarded for doing what they already do, not having to go out and seek it, but just it's happening in the background at all times. That's really great. So another great thing that we're adding actually is how we talk to our players. That's the main job of my team, is talking and listening to our players. But we do it out in the world. We do it on social media. We do it on TikTok and Twitter and other places. But in-game is obviously the best place to talk to people, and you've got some updates there.
Yeah, we're here to make the players' lives easier and your life easier as well. So we're going to be introducing a new inbox-based system that will help connect players with the news that you have to announce, including patch notes, announcements, rewards, and a lot more.
Okay.
That way, players will see less pop-ups when they launched into the game, and they'll be able to get into their games quicker.
Chvála Bohu.
It gives us new tools, right? Like being able to tell people the patch notes in detail is something we couldn't do before, and now we can. So again, you don't have to go find it on the web, but you'll be able to get it in the game. Pop-ups, not pop-ups, but notifications for rewards as well is another great improvement. So really good work there by the team. But we're not done. Actually, this is something people are familiar with, the Finisher Mori system. We tested it out a while back in PTB, got a ton of great feedback from the community. The team took that feedback, went back to the shop to tinker with it, and we've got the final version to tell people about now.
Right. I love Finisher Moris. I think they're a really amazing showcase for how deadly and gruesome our killers can be. But we also acknowledge that there was some room for improvement from the survivor's perspective. So like you said, we've taken the feedback, we've reiterated on it, and tried to land on what was the best player experience. So, in a coming update, Finisher Moris are going to become a baseline feature for all killers in the game. That means that killers are going to have access to the killer Finisher Moris by default, but they're only going to be able to use them on the last remaining survivor. That way, if the killer is able to successfully pull it off, we get an exciting conclusion to the match, and the survivors can feel that the game's ended in a fair way, and the match went smoothly, and it was a really exciting experience for
Nice!
So the killer's going to want to land that at the end.
Yes.
It happens at the end, like you said, so we're not...
Proste vždycky môžeš dať poslednému typkovi moríčko.
So with the merch store, we've got the always
nejaké
popular
merče
mystery
dávajú.
boxes coming back for this anniversary. And obviously because of the name, I can't tell you what's in the box. Maybe I'll try, But anyway, in the boxes, you're going to see 4 very exclusive DBD items specifically for this release. It's also
To chcem, to kupujem.
Follow the QR code on screen, scan it, and go get it. But
To stojí 50 €! Čiže mám to kúpiť? Nedovážajú do Čích ani na Slovensku. Smolka.
Roll initiative, because it's time to talk about Dungeons.
Roll initiative.
Poor, misguided wanderers. First there were many, and now so few. Little you must value your lives to take a single insignificant breath in my sanctum. I'm afraid there will be no quick death for you. No escape from this suffering. I shall draw out your ending as I see fit. For in dark places such as this. One must keep themselves entertained.
Vecna. Však jasné, však to je Vecna. Oni pomenovali v Stranger Things Vecna práve kvôli nemu, že sa tak volal ten týpek v D&Dčku. New chapter reveal.
So we're super excited today to be able to talk about the Dungeon and Dragon chapter.
I was surprised because I'm a big horror fan, but when you think about horror, Dungeons and Dragons is not the first thing that comes to mind. But thinking about it more, I realized, no, wait, there's a lot of horror in Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure. Of course, when we think Dungeons and Dragons, the first thing that comes to mind is a magical world, high fantasy, magical creatures, wizards, magic, all sort of things that don't necessarily fit exactly well into a horror setting. But because D&D is a world of imagination where we can create whatever we want, there's also a way to make it happen.
Dungeons and Dragons is really about exploring a fantasy world, but also be thrilled about what's going to be the monster you're going to meet the next time you open a door.
So let's talk about that killer you'll meet the next time you open the door. So of course, Dungeons & Dragons has a lot of iconic monsters we could have chosen from, a lot of iconic villains as well. And with our friends at Wizard of the Coast, we've established that our next killer would be Vecna.
Dúfam, že to nebude druhý Nemesis, vieš, kvôli mŕtvolám a zombikom, vieš?
The Bard, a very interesting class. There's many class that we could have chosen from the most into horror setting. You know, for example, when we think about a class like the Paladin, you think of the ability to turn the undead, magical sword, big plated armors, and all of this doesn't fit really well into the world of Dead by Daylight.
Súhlasím.
The Bard with abilities like bardic inspiration, the ability to sing, to play musical instrument, to know lore, and even to insult the villain is just so on brand. Through the cosmetic customization, you'll be able to choose between two specific characters inside the same survivor. So you'll have the choice between Ice Tree, a female elf, or Beramar, a human male. The map is a dungeon.
Dobre.
We have a new map with a new building. So there is a top part set in the marvelous new lighting of the Borgo realm.
Okay.
And you can find this isolated tower in the middle. You can go inside and go into an extensive dungeon underground packed with surprises and Easter egg related to Dungeons and Dragons. The goal
to nebudem chápať, ale škoda.
Imagine that Vecna, knowing about different realms and plane, now trapped into the realm of the entity, would find a place to make his own, his lair, and so that he can study where he is, the world, the entity, and potentially find a way to escape, maybe not. We are also introducing a new gameplay mechanic, and so these are basically doors, magical doors, which you can use to teleport from one area to the map to the next.
Okay.
Magic, it's something that we have never really tackled, not that way before. Something we try to stay away from. Like our powers are really visceral or like grounded as much as possible. It's something that do you want to talk about a bit? Magic?
Yes, please. And of course, there is a space for magic in horror games, but it has to be taken with the right tone. In this case, we're talking necromancy, blood magic, magic of the dead. And there's a touch of realism and visceralness that we wanted to add to magic versus something more flashy like a magic projectile or a fireball, for example. There's also something quite interesting out of utility spells. They're spells that are not used to kill or damage, but they're used in very creative ways. And we wanted to highlight that with the Lich, with Vecna. So that was our approach. Now, do you want to talk to us about the spell that we actually chosen?
Sure. So you have access to 4 different type of spell.
Okay.
Pretty much any time they have their own individual cooldown. But so the first one is called Fly, a very popular, well-known Dungeons and Dragons spell in our game. It lifts up the killer, and you're pushed forward, obviously faster. It's gonna also end if you vault a pallet or a vault location. It's not really a Dungeons and Dragons spell. It's more connected to Vecna. It's actually an ability that he has. What it does is that it cast five different individual projectile, and then it shoots them in a cone radius effect in front of him.
Jasné, niečo
These
ako
projectile
artistka.
they don't go very far, but if they hit the survivor, they get damage instantly.
OK.
It might sound very powerful and easy to use, but it's not the case. Survivor have a lot of counter, but the spell can also be used to zone in this aspect, so you can also go for the basic M1 attack during that time.
Okay.
The third spell is called Dispelling Sphere, which is actually, it's a combination of different existing Dungeons & Dragons spell. We just felt it was more compelling to combine them into one spell. So what it does, you cast a large sphere in front of you, and that sphere moves slowly throughout the level. Survivor do not see that sphere, and if they get in contact with that sphere, they get revealed for a few seconds by Killer Instinct, and also have their magic items disabled for a minute.
Okay.
And the last but not least spell is Mage Hand, very well known.
Posledný.
Dungeons & Dragons spell. What it does in Dead by Daylight, you, as the killer, you can tag up a nearby pallet. And if the pallet is upward, it blocks the pallet for a few seconds. Cannot be interacted by Survivor. And if it's downward, it's lifted up for you so you can fully pass without any obstacles.
Nice.
7 different chests that's going to spawn throughout the level.
Okay.
Survivor go interact with those chests, and while during the opening of the chest,
Nové
there's
čestky.
a D20 dice roll. Yes, it's Dungeons & Dragon. We couldn't do without
Oh,
a dice roll.
nice.
So this dice roll will determine the content of the chest. So
Okay.
if Survivor roll from 2 to 4, they get a basic Dead by Daylight brown item. So
Better than nothing.
yeah, well, maybe that brown mid kit might say.
Nice.
I don't know. 5 to 19, that's when you get the magic items. So there's 2 types of magic items, and each magic item is going to be randomly linked the first time you open the chest to one of the 4 Vecna spells. And so once they are equipped, each time the killer will cast the spell that is linked to one of your magic item, you're going to gain a passive bonus to help out, avoid the spell, or help you out against Vecna.
Ale musíš ten item mať v ruke, čiže musíš otvárať kejčky.
You know what you get if you roll a 20. So anyone who's familiar with Vecna in the lore of Dungeons & Dragons, there are 2 very specific artifacts that exist that is called the Eye of Vecna and the Hand of Vecna, and we introduce them in our game. So you roll a 20, you get one of the 2. You never know. But these works more like a normal item, so you have to pick them up and use them once. It's called attune, so you merge with the items, and then you unlock a very powerful ability up to like perk level.
Okay.
Yes, it's very
Okay.
strong. I guess you want to know.
But please
what they
do say.
Okay, sure. So if you attune with the Eye of Vecna, they use with lockers. So if you fast exit a locker, you're going to be unseen, unheard by the killer for 15 seconds. And on top of that, you gain a haste boost effect. And if you attune with the Hand of Vecna, you fast enter a locker and you're going to be teleported further down, further locker.
Wow.
So very powerful. I forgot a little details because they might sound super strong, said like that, but they come with a cost. So to use them, you have to be full health. And once you use them, you instantly lose a health state. And also at the end of the effect, you get revealed by Killer Instinct.
I'm Audrey, lead producer at Midwinter Entertainment. Last year, we gave you a very small glimpse of a project we started working on set in the Dead by Daylight universe. I'm happy to say that we have more to share with you on this game codenamed Project T. Instead of showing you a close to final game with some polished gameplay, we wanted to let you in on the development process. Right now, Project T is a work in progress, more than a fully fledged game. Our goal is to craft an experience with all of you and create something that you would be eager to play. Let's hear more about Project T with our creative director.
Hey everyone. First I want to say what an honor it is to be working in the Dead by Daylight universe. We love DBD's multiplayer thrills, and its dark, mature setting brings just the right kind of tension and danger for a game like this. In Project T, you play as trespassers, rough and tumble characters who have been whisked away from their realities and trapped within the entity's realm.
To je bomba.
There, in a vast region called the Backwater, they discover they must work together if they're to have any chance of survival. And of course, they're not alone. The Backwater is home to horrific monstrosities known as the Thrall. These terrors come in many forms and have different deadly abilities. Their origins and nature are unclear, but they certainly don't take kindly to trespassers within their domain. To achieve your objectives, you'll have to battle the thrall with every weapon at your disposal.
To navigate the back border, we're thinking of adding trucks in the game. Since it's a pretty big area, you would need a way to go from one point to another while escaping the hordes of thrall. But there could be other uses for the truck. That's something we're thinking about. And we'd love to see what kind of ideas you might have. As DBD fans, we're having a lot of fun creating this new experience as part of the Dead by Daylight universe. DBD is all about horror, and we want to make sure we're crafting something that horror fans will appreciate, from the different biomes of the back border to the look of the thrall.
Project T is still in early development, but that doesn't mean you'll have to wait another year to get more news. We're looking to get your opinions and share information, so we're creating a platform called the Insider Program. This is a place where all the players excited about this new take on the DBD universe can gather and be active participants in the development of the project. As an insider, you'll not only get exclusive information, but also in-game rewards and even the chance to join our closed play tests and give us your feedback. Join us to help shape an experience you'd like to play and make Project T the best that it can be. See you soon.
Cedar Hills is not exactly a noted hotbed of criminal activity.
What is that?
That's
From the
not
world of
entirely
Dead
true.
by Daylight.
There was that whole serial killer thing.
Why do you hate Cedar Hills so much? It used to be like town mascot.
Kde je Michaela?
Ladies and gentlemen, I present The Mill.
Spend enough time in my line of work, you realize every place has got its demons.
Think that belongs to the boy you're looking for?
You can't shoot a movie in here. This is a condemned steel mill, Mr. Rivera. I suggest you immediately vacate the premises. And you do not, under any circumstances, set 1 foot back here in the Cedar Steel Mill. Ever.
Such a joy to see young people so passionate about the arts.
Everything's all right.
Either of you heard of Murder Mill?
No! There was a whole string of disappearances. Kidnappings, really. Murders. So what was this guy's name?
I don't think the police ever found this place.
Fuck! Whoever did this might still be here. We can't stay, okay? We gotta go.
Antreska.
And cut!
OK, takže to je v podstate nová hra, už ju mám pridanú na wishliste. No poďme, in-game celebrations.
For everyone who's watching, once this is over, go play. And we've got lots of really cool stuff as a big thank you to all of the players. It's really stuff from all of DBD's history, and it includes a lot of presents.
Dávaj darčeky, dávaj sem.
We've got lots of login rewards, so lots of currencies for players to earn just by logging in whichever day throughout all of this. We've also got 2 recolored outfits, one for Meg and one for the Huntress, that players can earn through each week. So each week you'll be able to earn a different piece of this, so if you log in once each of these initial 3 weeks, you'll get the full outfits. We have some currency boosts, a different one for each week during Before the Masquerade. For the first week, we have a blood feast, so 3 times the blood points. During week 2,
to vyzerá dobre, škoda, že Legion je tak na killer.
Times the rift fragments, so if you want to progress towards the rift, this is a very good chance to do it.
Boosted maps.
During week 3,
okay.
we have 3 times the XP.
And then after D&D releases, the last week and a half we'll be doing double XP and double blood points, right?
Oh, we're doubling down, yeah.
Play the new
4. až 13.
jún.
Get
hyped. What about the event itself?
Big new thing that is coming for this year's Twisted Masquerade is the reveal of the host of the Masquerade, Trix herself. So players might have seen her hinted at during previous anniversary events or during in outfit descriptions, referenced as the Mad Designer or Zizzletrix. If you want to make it very clear, like this is her party. She's everywhere. Not a playable character, so we want to make that very clear. She is there pushing everybody to engage and celebrate, laughing at you or cheering you on around the exit gates. There's really voice lines that's going to appear everywhere, really accentuating the gameplay. It's going to be amazing. Like we loved hearing all of the voice lines that we have had recorded for this.
Okay, nice.
But one thing I wanted to mention is that all of our event gameplay now is going to take place within a separate event queue. So if you want some of the normal DBD, like in the core mode, you can have that. But if you want the event stuff, go over to the really cool event queue and take part of Trix's Twisted
Okay, keď chceš
Masquerade.
event, musíš ísť inde.
You mentioned it. So what are some of the gameplay changes that are coming with Trix?
Is that as a match progresses, one of a series of abilities, or sorry, one of the tricks is going to be played on our players. And these are going to be things like giving everybody haste, giving people undetectable, spawning anniversary special chests or totems, some really cool stuff that's going to spice it up. And this is going to happen whenever 2 points are accumulated during a match. So at first I'd say one trick actually takes place at the match start. Following that, whenever 2 points are accumulated from doing a gen, first hook, things like that, which each gives 1 point. That is then going to trigger another tricks to maximum of 5 during a match. So like, we want to really keep things interesting. And when a tricks is actually activated, you're going to see Trix herself appear alongside or take the spot of one of the dancing marionettes. And we've even added outside of chase abilities to the invitation. So if you're someone who doesn't necessarily want to always be chased by a killer or wants to have a more diverse use for it, we've added that. So survivors can now go into quiet mode. So making a lot less noise, and can even do things like quickly enter a locker without alerting the killer. It's super useful to get out of that chase right away.
That's fantastic.
Or if they're nearby, for killers, they can now use an invitation to immediately send a down survivor to a nearby hook. And as I can say from playtest, it's really fun. This year, we've got 2 new 100% earnable outfits that you can earn through the event. We have one for Bill Overbeck, another licensed guest making his appearance in the Masquerade. And one for the unknown, who is maybe trying to blend in a little bit at the party.
Successfully. The event in-game starts June 13th, but the Before the Masquerade event actually starts now, right after this show.
Ide sa na Q&A.
Can we play 2 of the same killers in 2v8, Justin?
No. The easy answer is no. You won't be able to play the same.
Nemôžeme hrať dvoch.
Match between the 5, but 2 of the same killer will not be.
What are their plans to keep 2v8 permanent after some iterations, Justin?
So this is something we're still working out. But I can tell you for sure in year 9, it will not be permanent at any point. It's going to be an ongoing discussion. It's going to depend sort of the engagement level, the feedback we get from you, and when we feel the mode is fully ready before we continue.
Takže nemusí to byť permanentné.
I just want to say before we leave, so the people who have been with us until the very, very end, we have one last surprise for you. So this summer, we are going to be welcoming yet another legendary set of characters into the fog. Featured in over 30 games, an animated series, an absolutely unforgettable soundtrack, and much, much more. We hope you are as excited as we are to welcome into the fog this...
Toto leto. Čo ti hrabe?